What's up there, guys and girls? We're here for another episode of Chicken Bone Alley. Quarantine week 4?
Too many. Too damn many. That's what it is.
Too many. Anyway, I'm David.
I'm Sterling. If we ready to do this again, man, I tell you what, you know, we're running out of stuff to do. I'll be honest with you. I done everything. Weeded the whole entire. I have a field beside my house, and it's not that big, but it's a pretty good sized damn field to weed eat. I'll be honest with you. And there's a lot of.
He got his bush hog weed eater.
That's a bad son of a bitch. I'm going to tell you now, but I'll tell you about it in a second. But I got some Bradford pear trees. They're wild Bradford pear trees. And this field that's beside my house used to be cropped. They used to be cotton in it, used to be corn in it, used to be all this stuff. Well, now it's grown up. And I own a little part of my property is in that field. I'm going to say maybe, 30 feet of it? I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, something like that.
Enough. And these Bradford pear trees grow like daggum beanstalks.
Well, that's why they call them a whore tree.
And dude,
because they just pollinate and pollinate like crazy.
And I mean, they keep popping up everywhere. And so I had to get out there and I bought this little thing, man. I tell you, I don't know if y'all ever seen it or not, but went to Lowe's the other day. I was quarantined pretty good until I got to Lowe's. And I don't know if anybody knows it, but everybody is planning on doing home furnishings and outdoor projects.
They're doing home improvement jobs
and stuff like that. Son of a bitch, Bo. Everybody at Lowe's. Everybody. They got this little 6-foot little X mark every 6 foot to the cash register. When I walked in the door, there's the cash register. I had to go piss to start with. The line is inside the bathroom, Bo. In the lawn and garden area. And I don't know if everybody knows it, but I'm going to tell everybody. You can buy flowers at Lowe's, and you can check out with flowers inside. You ain't got to check out in the lawn and garden.
No, they don't know that.
I don't think nobody knows that because, dude, good Lord. So anyway, I went in there to get my bush hog weed eater attachment. And this thing, Bo, I'm going to tell you, it's made in China. It's probably got corona, but anyway, it's got plastic. I don't know how it's hard to explain. It's like a metal casing with plastic molded around it. I don't know, but it's got teeth, and that's a bad son of a bitch. I ain't gonna lie. It'll cut like, through.
It almost looks like the end of of trimmers, like hair trimmers.
Yeah, almost.
It's kind of got little notched metal. As sharp as I don't know what. But
they're freaking awesome, dude. And it's a whole head. You screw your old head off. You screw this head on. The teeth. It's got 3 blades in it. They're replaceable. But Bo, I'm gonna tell you what. I think it'll cut anything. So anyway, that's what I did this past weekend. It wasn't a whole hell of a lot going on. We can't get no more dirt on our racetrack because the weather's been bad and what have you, and so forth and so on. But we need like 4 more loads of dirt. If anybody would like to donate some sand clay or some real clay or some
clay,
whatever,
molding clay. We'll take molding clay at this point.
We'll take sandbox sand. We just need
some. We don't need no sandbox sand.
Well, I mean, we can mix it. I don't know, but anyway, we need some more dirt and clay to get this track done so we can get to racing a little bit on the weekends. But I was preoccupied with that. But I don't know. How about you? What did you do this weekend?
Well,
you had some other kind of virus go to your house, didn't you?
Yeah, we didn't have the corona. We had the after effects of what happens when you have too many coronas virus. Apparently, going around my house, me and both the boys had the good old stomach bug this past weekend. But before that, I will go back. I did something that I've been wanting to do for years, and finally, on my iRacing setup, I finally decided to break down and give me 3 curved 32-inch monitors, and that made a world of difference. Then I noticed somebody else ordered some too.
Then what he had done at that point was he caused me to spend my damn non-stimulated money that I didn't get to be able to, use on monitors and buy me some monitors that I probably didn't need to spend to do. But hey, I had to do it as part of it. Hey, I'm excited.
Well, tell them about. Let's go back to our Saturday. What we did Saturday.
What we didn't do on Saturday.
I kind of did. I made the whole race. I made all the laps.
You did absolutely wonderful, and I'm proud of you. And you get a star. I didn't. Okay, so we're going back up a little bit. We've always said, we've told y'all, David started in iRacing 10, 11 years ago. I started 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was. David has upgraded his computer since he started. Well, when I started, I got a computer that was not the best by no means, but it was a good computer. It was capable of running iRacing at a decent frame rate, and keeping up. Well, here lately it's been getting worse and worse and worse, and it had been freezing some. So I went in and deleted everything off the computer. I just have TeamSpeak and iRacing. And everybody that's not familiar with iRacing or computer games, whatever, simulators, whatever, the frame rate, the more it drops, the more pixelated your view looks, your screen looks. It's really hesitant like, and it's no good. So anyway, I deleted everything off, had it running. It ran good. I've been running some smaller races with 15, 20 cars in it at most, and it had been running fine. Well, Clint Mills put on a fantastic race and, promoted this deal, and he's continuing to do it. And I'm all for it. And he's got another race coming up this week at Dover. But last week he ran a big $500 to win race at Darlington, 200 laps, and I love Darlington. I love Darlington on iRacing and real life, whatever.
I love watching races at Darlington.
Yeah, David's he's not the biggest fan of Darlington, but I love it. I love running at iRacing on iRacing. It's a fun track, especially as tires wear. It's fun. So anyway, we run all the whole practice sessions. We do this Friday night, Thursday night, Friday night, the whole deal. Elliott Sadler's in it, Austin Yarborough, I think Cole Johnson running. Bunch of go-kart guys running. Well, so we get in the race, and I think 21 laps into it, my computer decides to not work no more. So, I can still hear everything going on, but I can't see a whole lot. But anyway.
It sounded like there was a EDM DJ over at Sterling's house, because all I could hear in my headphones on our TeamSpeak channel was that.
Yeah, it was. I was not too happy. So that has also influenced me to try to upgrade in a computer that is capable of operating, and while I'm doing it, I will get some monitors.
That computer that you are getting is capable of operating a space shuttle, but.
Well, I mean, it's. I want it to last a little while. I don't want to have to redo this for the next 10 years. Hopefully,
I think you're gonna be good for a while.
I hope so. So we're gonna see what happens. So anyway, going back to the race, it was a really cool. It was broadcasted. I can't recall the name of it.
Pit Stop TV.
Pit Stop TV. Yeah, they had a little technical issues starting off, but they covered the race well. There was a lot of cautions in that race.
Way too many.
Couldn't really get, the big thing with Darlington is, with me anyway, I'm better on long runs. I'm better on a full tire run. So you really, I didn't get a full anything run in 21 laps, but I watched David ran. I watched on Pit Stop TV and watching him run, watching all these guys run. You couldn't get anything going because there was a caution every 10 laps, 5 laps, whatever it was. I think the longest run was 30 laps, I believe it was, somewhere along in there. And it was just constantly caution after caution after caution. Nobody giving, everybody taking. And you can't do that at Darlington by no means. But it was very interesting to see. Like I said, he's running another $500 to win I think, this weekend.
Yeah.
Coming up at Dover. Doing a little bit differently. He was taking entries up to 43 spots at Darlington, where, from what I understand, this week he's taking as many entry fees or as many entries as he can get, and you got to qualify your way into the race.
That's right.
So it's going to be a little more interesting. It's going to be a little harder to get in.
Yeah. I love Darlington. Don't get me wrong. I love the track. I love going to it. I love watching races there. Me on iRacing with Darlington, not a pretty sight. I don't know why I cannot get it. There's something about it.
Run. Your long run speed's good.
I'm better on the long run, but I'm just not all that fast on it. But with that being said, I still managed to finish on the lead lap. Finish 13th out of 43. So I don't feel too bad about my situation. I don't reckon.
Very good.
Even though you guys wanted to talk junk about me because somebody can't drive, but yet I got blamed for it somehow.
You didn't move the wall for him.
I didn't move the wall. I didn't move over to the next county for the guy. Apparently,
you didn't go on the outside of the wall for him. I don't know what you were doing, but that's the problem, obviously.
Obviously, they
these guys, and we're gonna get into this a little bit more. But these guys with iRacing, some of them, especially in a hosted race, and we've said this before. A hosted race does not, how you do or don't do, does not affect your I rating or your safety rating. So these guys will go in there and they don't care to take you out. They got a fast repair, in which we had 2, I think, in this past race. They don't care if they mess up their stuff. It doesn't matter to them. They can take you out, and which David had trouble with that with another guy in that race a couple times. And honestly, you would think with somebody that's paying entry fee to get in a race, you would take it seriously enough to not mess up somebody else's day constantly. I mean, it's very aggravating, and running official stuff. Some people, the higher up in class you go, like we've said before, people take it a lot more serious. But there was a lot of people that just did not give anything, but they were all over one another, and that makes it difficult, especially at Darlington, of all places.
Yeah, you can't pass there to begin with. And somebody actually asked Elliott Sadler while we were in the race. They asked him. They said, "Man, is it really this hard to pass here?" He said, "Oh yeah." He said, especially with this aero package, he said, it really simulates it well. He said you can get up to the bumper or get behind them, but you can't pass them. It's just
well, that's why you see a lot of times actually in the actual race, you see a lot of these guys giving up going into 1 or giving up going into 3, giving somebody some room, and that's the way it should be on iRacing as well. If you got somebody tearing down your bumper for 5 laps. Obviously, they're faster. You just let them go and give them some room. I mean, I have no problem letting people go, and Dave was doing the same thing. And, with a 20, 30 lap run going on and tires wore out, it's hard to pull down to the bottom in 3 and 4. So, like David said, he was giving them room. He was running the top. And that other boy that was running up top 10, top 5, whatever he was, he just drove it down in there hard in 3 and 4 and was hoping to be able to perform the slide job. He did not quite clear.
No, not quite. He didn't make it past his door. It was stupid. I mean, he just went in there and just drove over my hood, but then trying to blame me for it. I was like, I don't understand this. And the guys on the broadcast blame me for it.
It happens.
I don't know.
It's okay.
I'm not worried about it. I ended up coming back, finishing on the lead lap, finished 13th.
That's right.
So I was good to go.
Well, there's a whole lot more stuff going on in iRacing. There's a lot of new things coming up. And, like we've said before, this whole virus deal has allowed this iRacing deal to pop up and do a whole lot more bigger things. And, the really cool thing about it is anybody that wants to promote, draw a crowd can do that. They can go on, they can host their own deal, they can schedule it for weeks ahead or whatever and promote this thing and push it to have a big event. And that's one thing that we're looking at trying to get involved with somewhat coming up soon.
Well, we'll just go ahead into it. So speaking of that, let's go to Skype. Answer the phone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now here on the phone on Skype here, we got the promoter of Triple T Raceway. He promotes also Paradise Raceway, Speedway. And right now, he's probably about the hottest promoter on iRacing. Mr. Terry Odom. Mr. Terry Odom, how you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. I hope yours will.
We're doing great, buddy. Doing great. Like we just said, you're the big promoter around this area. Tell us a little bit about your tracks and stuff.
Man, I don't know if I'm the biggest or the hottest, but I sure appreciate that. Yeah, we do Triple T. We're going on a little over 5 years with that place now, and we kind of stumbled in it by accident. I started out promoting, racing first, and then got a crazy idea to bring back Modoc Speedway back in, I think it was 2000 when we brought that thing back to life. And I kept that thing for, I think it was 3, maybe 4 years, and things happened, things changed, and moved here to North Carolina. Of course, I attended many races, and my neighbor we was riding around. He said, man, let's check out this old track. It's been closed down for a number of years, and stopped in there, and the gate was locked. And I went a couple of days by, and I said, man, that place has been closed down. I'm going to go check it out. So it was an old farmland in front of it. I don't know if you've ever been to Triple T, but in front there's a lot of farming. So I decided to walk through this little fence area that, not through the fence, but you could walk by the side. Lo and behold, I was walking around, and an old man pulled up in the truck and had a big old 44 Magnum sticking out his window. And he wanted to know what I was doing on his property. But that wound up being Tom Horn. We're very good friends today. He owns that property, and that's who I got the lease through. We're going pretty good there. Then Henry Morey that runs Paradise, he'd been struggling with it off and on for a number of years, and he approached me about running. And in the beginning, I was against it. Didn't feel like I had the time to do it, with a full-time job and join Triple T. But after a few conversations, we did it, and it turned out to be a really good thing for us. And Henry's good people, and that's a hell of a facility he's got over there. And
oh yes, sir.
So now we run both racetracks. We run the GOAT Series, and I got some great people behind me, and that's the only way we can do it, including my wife. And man, we're having a good time with it. Up until this point, but we'll get back at it sooner or later. But it's a lot of fun, a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. We love racing, and we're going to do what we can to keep the sport growing.
Well, that's awesome. I'll tell you a little bit about myself at Triple T. Back when, way before you were involved in it, when he first opened that track, I ran there in go-karts, obviously. But it was a funny show in first few races. They didn't really know what they were doing to begin with. And I guess that's kind of what ended up happening with it and how you ended up with it. But actually, the last time I raced there, I can't remember what year it was. It had to be around 2002 or 3. We got chased out of there by a tornado, actually. So,
wow.
Yeah, we've been there a couple more times and watched y'all, and y'all put on a great show up there. So that's awesome.
Yeah. We tried, man. It's racing, especially kart racing. It can be tough promoting out there. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and these karters don't give racers. Period. They don't give you no slack. So I try. Never will be perfect, of course, but I demand we at least attempt to be perfect every time, and it bites us sometimes, but most of the time I think my staff does a really good job.
Well, I know that's a very tough thing to do. I've raced myself for years when I was younger, so I know how tough it is trying to keep everybody happy. You cannot please everyone at a go-kart track by no means, but I know that's not what you're there to do. You're there to have good, clean racing and have a good time and have fun. But Paradise is definitely a nice racetrack by all means, and I'm glad to see it's finally getting, being able to run in the right direction to keep people there. I hate to see that place go down for sure for how nice it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's there's no secret about it. There's over $1 million spent at that place. The track's a little bit toughy, and a little bit tough, a little bit different. Real tight corners in it, and you got your people that really love it, and you got your people that really hate it. And it's just one of those tracks, you know. We did do a little bit by it. To me, it was a little bit too tight, so that's why we moved the back straightaway back about 15, 18 feet. I would have loved to go a little bit further, but with the structures back there, that concession stand and the shelters, there's no way to go back there. We do have some plans in the future to move the lights on the infield, in about 20, 25 feet on both ends, and then bring the corners in. And that will slow the speeds down in the straightaway, which will take away a lot of the tightness a problem with the tightness in the corner. The tightness in the corners will always be there. But in my mind, I think we're carrying a little bit too much speed there to deal with those tight corners.
Oh, yeah. Me and Sterling are both big proponents of slower. It makes a better race.
It does. It does. Yeah, that track intimidates a lot of drivers, and I think you got to find that happy medium. You're not going to, you got your people that love it. You like Cole Johnson. You ask him and Austin Yarborough, that's one of their favorite tracks because it's a driver's track. And that's all fine and dandy, but as a promoter, I have to find a happy medium to make the bigger majority like it. And I think the way it is right now with the long straightaways, it creates a problem for a lot of drivers.
Absolutely. Well, you spoke about MoDOC, and we went down to Volusia earlier in the year for Speed Weeks, and we talked with Ricky a little bit about MoDOC and what was coming up, and Chris Madden running down there earlier in the year. And surprisingly, I had never in recent years have heard of MoDOC. So how long ago were you involved with MoDOC, and what made you steer away from dirt race cars and going to go-karts? And
even before that, just how long have you been involved in racing in general?
Well, I've been in going to racetracks. Shoot, my dad first brought me to my first race. I was probably 4 or 5 years old. But I actually got to start racing, I think it was 94, 95, somewhere in that area. And we raced for a number of years. Started out in Super Street and wound up driving for a guy and some limited late model stuff, and watched two races in super late model. And how I got into go-kart is a buddy of mine. You probably heard of him, Andy Stewart. He races a lot around the Georgia area. Wins a lot of them big super street races. Right. But he had his kid in racing, and one particular night we got rained out at Gordon Park Speedway in Augusta, Georgia. And he had his son racing at I-20 Speedway before they closed up over there, little kart track they had.
Yep.
And he asked me to come drive a champ buggy for him. I said, man, I ain't never drove no go-kart before. I said, but I'll go with you and have some fun. He said, no, man, it'll be all right. Go out there and race it. They was probably, if I remember correctly, 12, 14 in that class. And I was like, holy cow, I'm going to tear all these boys up. But we wound up, they didn't have a timing system there, so they wound up heat racing. And I started like third in my heat race, wound up finishing second, and put me like fourth, I think, in the race, and wound up winning that thing. And I was like, oh, man, okay, I like this now. and that's how I got into go-kart racing. I hit or miss here on some races when I wasn't racing cars. And then I had this wild hair, man, so I wanted to try to promote a racetrack, and we was actually going to build one. I had a guy that was going with me, and somebody mentioned about MoDOC. It had been closed down for a number of years. We finally found out who owned that and brought it back to life, man. And they're still running the MoDOC 100, and you speak of Chris Madden. I run the first MoDOC 100, and it was a super late models when I ran it. And that first MoDOC 100 we have, I think it was 2003, if I remember correctly. We had, some hot shoes there. Earl Pearson was there, Madden, a few others. And I don't remember exactly who was racing 2 and sometimes 3 wide. Madden was running in 4th at the time. And he kept moving up higher and higher, going through the corner. And then at the last lap, going through turn 3, he went all the way to the outside. And I still remember it because I was standing right there in turn 3. His right rear fender touched the wall and threw sparks, and he went all the way around and won the race from 4th spot. Wow. One of the best races I've ever seen in my life. I'm not saying that because I was owning MoDOC at the time. It's truly one of the best car races I've ever seen.
Wow, that's
unbelievable.
Awesome.
And he probably still remembers that too. It was $10,000. He still probably remembers that well. Brandon Overton actually cut his teeth over there. And a funny story, real quick, about Brandon Overton is.
Oh, go ahead. Ain't got to
he
be
was a
quick. We got plenty of time.
He's a hot shoe in go-karts. He was 13 years old, and his dad come up to me, wanted him to run a super late model and drive for a guy. And I'm like, no, not happening. No. Not my insurance wouldn't have done it anyway. And
Yeah.
somehow or another, he got, I think, if I remember correctly, it was Gaffney. He was able to race there in a super. I've never drove a car before, I think, at that point, or in a real race. And I think he finished like second or third in that race. And
Wow.
Overton, too, will tell you about Modoc. If you ever get a chance to talk with him, he'll tell you, but he knows about Terry Odom. But he, once you finally started letting him run at the racetrack, he was just killing him. Modoc is one of those just hang it out, let it drive. I mean, it is the more aggressive you are, the faster you'll be at Modoc. They changed it a little bit. Very unfortunate. When Brian Stewart took it over, he changed it a little bit, and now the Cushman's got it.
Yeah,
but it's still a racy racetrack. They're having a little bit difficult with the dust and the.
Yeah.
I might reach out to them because I had that exact same problem when I had Modoc in the beginning. The dust was just absolutely horrible.
Yeah, we watched that race there a few weeks back, about a month.
Well, whenever it was.
And man, they couldn't see. I know Ferguson said he could not see past the air cleaner on his car. It was bad.
Yeah, it was. They got a lot of silt in that clay around there. They got some beautiful clay, but it has a lot of silt in it, and that stuff is like baby powder.
Wow.
And it don't matter how much water you put on it. You've seen some of the spots the track was wet, which tells me they had quite a bit of water in it, but they're going to have to put some chemical in there to help bond it. And I might reach out to Edward Cushman and see, because I love that place, man.
They've done a
phenomenal job of making that place look good too.
Absolutely. I mean, the track looked great to start with. I'd love to see them have more there. And they even stopped the race right in the middle of it and wet the track again, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think it was 5 laps. It was right back dusty again. So.
Yeah, it's not going to matter when that gets to that point. Believe me, I've been there, and it was. I like to pull my hair out trying to figure out what the hell to do with that place.
I bet so.
Well, that dirt racing and cars kind of moves us on to the big subject at hand right now. iRacing. Unfortunately, with all this coronavirus shit we got going on, iRacing is kind of our only.
Now we fast forward to iRacing.
Yep.
And I've been telling my wife for a while now. I mean, I can't probably never get a chance to get another car. I'm gonna get this iRacing thing, and I'm gonna check this out. Well, I finally did it about 2 weeks ago, and I fell in love with it. Well, I'm a promoter. I love to promote, and I said, you know what? I'm getting into this game, and we just started talking to a couple people that really smart with that stuff, and talked to old Chris with the National Racing Network they got over there, and he's really smart with this and put it together. And I had great help like you guys that come on board with me. And I think it's going to be huge. I really, really think it's going to be a big deal. And I'm real excited about the 4 race series we got, but I'm extremely excited about that 2-day race we're doing at Eldora. We got almost a $10,000 purse there, and it's woke everybody up.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, we actually, I know you just mentioned it right there, but we actually have not made an official announcement about us doing it. So if you will, announce all what's going on there. You just give the whole spiel and announce our involvement in it for us, if you will.
Okay, we're gonna do a 4 race series. We're gonna call it a Thursday Night Thunder. We'll run 2 classes each Thursday night, starting next Thursday. Not tomorrow, the following week, Thursday. We're going to run the Wing 360 sprint cars, and we'll run the Pro Super Late model. And it's kind of a points thing that what you get out of both classes is if you finish in the top 5, you're a guaranteed spot for the Eldora race, whatever class that you wanted in either the 360s or the Pro Late models. And that's going to be important because you're talking, it could be 150, 200 drivers trying to make that race. They will have a guaranteed spot. So it's a pretty big deal. The series is just $10 to join this in series, and then $15 each week. Guaranteed $100 to win in both, and I'm paying out the top 5. So it's a pretty big deal. But the reason why we can do that is because the sponsorship, like the Chicken Bone Alley and you guys, stepped up, and HBM industry stepped up. That's how we're able to do that, and that's how we're able to pay the the money at the Eldora race we're going to have. We're calling it the Four Crown Nationals. I can tell you that I'm the type of guy either big or go home. Some people think I'm crazy as hell, but I not that I'm trying to make a pile of money in it. Which, if anybody's following iRacing and seeing what we're doing in entry fees, there's not like, if there's going to be any money made, it's going to be very minimum. Not really doing it. Do I look to make money in the future? Oh, absolutely. I'm a promoter.
That's
but
what I'm talking about.
I'm just trying to right now just build something up. I can assure you we're not stopping with this. Even when we get back racing, I am going to continue like the Thursday Night Thunder and keep building that bigger and bigger. I don't like being second to no one, and I don't mean any offense to anybody when I say that. That's just me. I'm competitive in nature, whether we're in a race car. When I'm pushing a buggy down the aisle, if I think somebody's trying to pass me, I'm going to speed up. That's just the way I am. And I greatly appreciate you guys' sponsorship. I've watched some of your older shows here recently. Man, y'all do a phenomenal job. And I'm going to do what I can to help push some people over your way, too. You guys y'all, if you want to know racing, this is where it's at right here. You guys got it going on.
Well, we sure appreciate that, man. We appreciate that a ton. If we can go into a little more detail and stuff about how because I know I looked on there on y'all's website, and if you'll give everybody the website, but I know if you can go into a little layout of the rules, because I'm gonna tell you, y'all got a better rule system than any series I've ever seen run on iRacing, and well, me and Sterling's run quite a few.
Right, and that's what I wanted to get at too. Is we've been racing. I've been on iRacing for 6-7 years. David's been on iRacing 10, 11 years. So we've done it. We ran Clint Mills' race last weekend. So I love this. I love you promoting this, and I love to see it grow, and I love to hear that you're going to continue it for weeks to come.
Yeah, just like in racing, and I'm sure you've seen some of the controversial calls that we've made at some of our racetracks. And I tell drivers all the time, and to me, I don't care what your last name is or how much money you got or how much money you sponsored. We're going to call it like we see it, just like my job at work. It's not who you are. And I base it off of what's in front of me at that moment. Do we always get it right? No. But we have, we black flagged is Knopf, Shea recently. Shea was Austin Wide at the big race Thanksgiving, based off of what we saw in front of us, and we stand behind them calls. Well, some of the things I started seeing iRace is some of the doggone dirtiest moves that you can make.
Yep.
It's just they don't. I mean, I passed the dude in a race clean, and that dude just turned left on me and sent me straight to the wall for no reason at all. Just done it. So when I put this together, speaking with Chris and a few other people, they too said that's a big problem on here. And I said, well, we're not going to do that. We're not going to tolerate that. And actually, for our series race and our Eldora, I have 4. I'm going to be the race director, but I have 4 officials, and each one of them is going to have a camera view, just like a corner. They're going to be corner workers, and they are watching just that sector. That's all they got. And every sector overlaps, so we'll be able to see the whole racetrack. And I have an official watching every move that's being made on the racetrack. And of course, they have the ability that if I say caution, they can throw the caution as well. We're not letting iRacing control the cautions. We're going to control them. We're not going to give people's black flag back. You get black flag by iRacing. Is what it is.
Thank you.
We're going to. Can we get it all? No, we can't. It's impossible. Not in real life, right, and not in virtual. We can't get it all. But we're going to do what we can to clean up that stuff. And if it's obvious and it's done, I mean, some of it's going to. There's no doubt we're going to have to, disqualify people and kick them off. I know it's coming. I hate it that way. We're going to discuss it heavily in the drivers' meeting and try to warn everybody. Then you won't get away with it. So don't cry if you do it and we kick you off. We know we're going to have to ban some people. We know that's coming. And it's unfortunate we have to do that. But I want the guys that want to do this. Shit happens on a racetrack when you're racing hard. It does. Right. And I don't want to punish that. You know what I'm talking about. Them people that bonsai people just for the hell of it. Absolutely. Knock the crap out of you under caution and shit. Like, we're not going to tolerate that. Not at all. We're just going to boot you off. Your warning is the driver's meeting.
That's awesome.
Well, I mean, that's the bad thing too about iRacing is, there's you don't have the face-to-face interaction, so it is.
Oh yeah.
It's very easy to go in there and bonsai somebody and just rage quit, as they call it, and just don't care. So but I hope with people that's going to take the time and effort to join this series and spend the money to do it, I really hope people take it seriously.
And I do too. I'd be naive to think we're not going to have issues. But when you start putting money up like this, you eliminate some of the people who do it. And I've watched some of the money races, and it's disappointing because a lot of these guys are doing it because they're getting away with it.
Right.
And I want people to know and understand that I'm not going to tolerate it. And I think that's going to draw in more people. The more they start, a lot of these people on the internet don't know me, on iRacing don't know me. But I think if they give me a chance to run a couple of races with me, they're going to see that I'm going to try my best to run the Class A act. We're not going to tolerate it. And I think at the end of the day, I'm going to piss people off. There's no doubt about it. But I hope at the end of the day, people say, oh, shit, that's the series of running right there. Get out there, have fun. It is a lot of fun. But if you're out there running good and some guy gets mad at you over some bullshit, then under caution, he's going to cremate your car.
Yep.
Just so he can exit out. That's just bullshit. And, and I'll get rid of those people and ban them from running any races.
That's the way it should be. And you're gonna upset the people that you don't want in there. So that's the way to do it.
Right. And what's really, really, really good about iRacing is once I ban you, that any race I put on, it automatically, until I take it off, you are banned. You cannot enter.
Yep.
And I think that's an awesome feature right there.
It sure
and
is.
that right there, I think after a race or two, I think it's going to get around pretty quick.
Yep.
And I think we'll have a look. It'll get better as we go. But I know we're going to have that problem. I'm going to try to stress it the best I can in drivers' meeting, just like I do in real life. But I know I'm not that naive to know we're going to have problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about.
But I will promise you this: I'm going to do the best I can to eliminate those problems.
And we know you will. Who? I know there's some rules on it. So who all can run this race?
We can, as long as you're not classified a pro on iRacing, or you're running in the road to pro. If you're not in the top 20, you can run it. You can run any class you want to. Now we may change it later down the road. But I thought, I looked at it, and there's not a whole lot of pros on dirt. I think it was 20 something. And then you add the 20 that's in the top 20 now, you're looking at about 40 drivers. I seen that kid. I don't remember his name right now, but he's like 14, 15 years old. He is just phenomenal on dirt. He is just, to me, and a lot of drivers, and what got started on this is a lot. I got probably, I'm not kidding you, 18 or 20 text messages that day I posted it, wanted to know, before I posted about the pros, are we going to limit it to keep them out of it? And I really didn't understand why, because I'm on them guys, look, you got to outrun whoever's out there. But some of these guys, it just would, I think by allowing them, would cut my car count in half.
Sting up the show, something serious.
Yeah.
Right. They're just not going. They know they ain't got a snowball chance with them guys in there. And I'm a promoter. I got to get as many as I can to do it in order for it to work. And I think by having those guys in there, it wouldn't happen. Now I'm gonna have some races like that, and run maybe some World of Outlaw cars or something, put up some money and see them boys go at it, because they're a lot of fun to watch. I mean, they are. I watched some of them in the past. And they're a lot of fun to watch when they get around that. And you do an open setup, and they can run the bottom, the middle, the top, and they just create a great show. But for what I'm trying to do is get the masses and then grow it from there. I'll have something for the pros too, just not right now.
That's awesome. So give everybody a website and how they sign up and all that good jazz.
And probably the easiest way to go is to go to our Facebook, which is Triple T Raceway. Or they can go to our website, which is tripletraceway.com. And at the top, it'll have a tab is iRacing. And it'll have all of our rules listed. It gives the details of it. And I encourage people that intend to run it to please go in there and read our rules. Now, we'll highlight most of them during our drivers meeting, but we can't cover the whole 3 pages of it. and we are just need people to know and understand we're serious about them rules. There's code of conducts in there. There's, what we spelled it out as best as we could possibly do it and cover everything. If if you're one of those drivers that likes doing that, please don't even waste your money. Don't you? Because if you get, it says it in there. If we DQ you, there's no interview money back. We appreciate the donation, but you're gone. So if you're one of those drivers that likes doing that, then it's probably not the series you need to make. I promise you, I ain't gonna put up with it. But again, they go Triple T Raceway on the Facebook, or they can go TripleTRaceway.com and click on the iRacing tab, and it'll give you the opportunity to register if you want to. And just create a little bit of confusion. I got to figure out a way to do it. You can enter one race, or you can enter all four of them at the time. You don't have to enter all four of them. You can do 1 week at a time, or you can do both classes. They will be run separate, so folks that want to run the sprint cars and the late models, you'll be able to do that. But you can do it one race at a time, or you can enter all four of them.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome. Well, I'll tell you now, if you look already on there's a David Rogers on there, because I'm gonna try my hand at it. See,
come on, man. We love to have it. It's going to be announced live by Chris with the National Racing Network. He come on board too, and he'll be announcing that, and he does a phenomenal job with that. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, I'm not going to race it. I debated that for a little bit, but there's no way I can be the race director and race too. I don't think we can do that, because I'll be worried about what I'm doing, not what everybody else is doing, and that's not what it is. So I will be a spectator and watching everybody, but I'll enjoy it. Y'all hear me chime in every now and then, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll be rooting for you on there, man.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to this iRacing stuff, and I'm looking forward to continue. I hate that this virus caused all the iRacing to grow like it has, but at the same time I love it. So, but whenever all this is said and done, what big races you got coming up and planned for? I know you had to reschedule some stuff. What's coming up as far as at the go-kart track?
Well, we have the Max Daddy scheduled for May 2nd. I'm actually in contact the last couple of days with Patty with Goldspeed, which runs that. Right now it is scheduled for May 2nd, but we're going to come up with a contingency plan just in case. I have a feeling in the next week or two you're going to start seeing things lighten up a little bit.
Yes, sir.
If that happens, great, we'll get back. But if not, we'll move it. I got to make up a goat race. I'm going to have to make up one of the backyard races. And it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to do that, because every track has the same problem. We got our races we're going to try to make up. Series got to make up. Some of the staple events can be made up. So what I'm hoping is I'm going to reach out to all the promoters and see if we can work something out so we're not on top of each other.
That's right.
That's going to be an issue. That's going to be a real issue, because, our season just got condensed. But, July 4th is our next real big race, which will be at Paradise. It's an annual event over there. Not sure. We probably won't have as big as purse we had years past, just because I don't think people are going to have that kind of money to spend. But it will be a big race, and hopefully by then we're back on track. And I usually don't like running in July and August just because of how hot it is. But I have a feeling we're going to be running a little bit in July and August to make up some of these races, especially the backyard series, because I can run that later in the day and get away with it, which I try to keep a wetter track with that. And so later in the day works for that. As far as the goat, I got to find a weekend to make that up. I promised a lot for year end for that thing, and I'm not going to, we're giving away almost $30,000 in that bad with cash. So I have to make sure that
almost makes me want to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's a big deal. It pays pretty decent on a weekly basis. It pays decent, but year in, I reward the guys that support me, and like I said, last year was right at 28,000. This year is a little bit more, but it's a lot of fun, man. I love racing. I love it. I hate what we got going on right now, but I'm telling you, that's iRacing thing. It's made a lot of people happy. Could you imagine if which I have an essential job, but there's a lot of people that don't, and they're stuck at home, and these kids are stuck at home. Could you imagine if we didn't have iRacing? Holy cow!
Oh man!
What
would
horrible.
People do?
And we've said it the last few weeks. I mean, the good thing is about our sport is we have iRacing to keep it going. That involves the same, set of skills to drive a car as you do on iRacing for the most part. And, baseball, football, whatever, they don't have that. So we are fortunate, but, we're so ready to get back on track.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. iRacing's fun. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play again tonight. It's a lot of fun, and it is. But it ain't nothing like being at a racetrack. There's nothing to smell, being around the people. Y'all been around for a long time. It's a different group of people at a racetrack. Some of us call us old rednecks. You can call us what you want, but I'm going to tell you, you got really good people at a racetrack, and it's just a lot of fun. Do we have our problems at a racetrack? Heck yeah. Every sport does. But all in all, we got really good people that are racers, and I miss that. I absolutely, genuinely miss that.
It's funny because looking back at back when me and Sterling raced, we started in go-karts in the mid-'90s ourselves, and it was so funny because you might be fighting with somebody this week, the next week it always seemed like somehow you end up almost parked beside each other every time. And y'all were good to go at that point.
I have been in knockout, drag-out fights at a racetrack, and later on that night we're probably eating a Waffle House.
That's
exactly right.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm glad it's that way. I seriously don't like fighting at a racetrack. I think times have changed now, and you just can't, as a promoter, we cannot allow that to happen. That's right. But there, I know what you're talking about. You're arguing and fussing one day, cussing each other out. The next day, you're fine. And I'm glad it's that way too.
It's like
Could you imagine if we carry grudges every week?
It's like a big dysfunctional family. That's all it is.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good way to put it. You're right. We are a big dysfunctional family. You are absolutely correct. And it carries over on iRacing too.
I promise you.
They say over them doggone headsets just cracks me up.
Oh, I'm telling you, I raced with Austin Yarborough this past weekend and at Darlington, and that race Clint Mills put on. I'm gonna tell you, them boys are something else on there. So.
I was listening to. I was actually in the race, and it was a legend car race, and the dude took another one out just stupidly, and he said, "Man, if we had a real racetrack, I'd go over and stomp your ass, boy." Oh my God, son! And it started a whole shitstorm after that.
There you go. That's right.
Well, speaking of shitstorms, while we got you on the phone, I figure I'd go ahead and get we'll change subjects a little bit. Go ahead and get your thoughts on it. Let's bring up the elephant in the room for this past weekend racing. Kyle Larson, what's your take?
Oh, man, I tell you, I wish that word was out of vocabulary altogether. I really do. But with that said, I'm in law enforcement, so I deal with a lot of people. And that word has become so common, especially with the millenniums, and that's exactly where Kyle Larson is. He didn't, in my opinion, he didn't use it in any kind of derogatory way.
That's right.
And that's what bothered me about the most. He has been absolutely hammered, lost his ride, lost his sponsorship, and it was never meant to harm anybody. It wasn't being derogatory. It is common for these kids to use that word now in a sentence. Go on Facebook. You'll find. I guarantee you. I promise you. You got friends right now that uses that in their vocabulary. Mm-hmm. Is it right? No, it's not. It's not right. But with that said, he did not do that derogatory, in my opinion. And the crime doesn't finish the punishment that he got. Absolutely. We have become so pansy of a society that
Amen.
we get so worked up over a word. It drives me crazy. We see it in the media. Some media personality says or does something, it may not fit right or something. The next thing you know, they're fired and been hammered all over the news media. And it baffles me. How did we get to this point right now? Our parents, our grandparents, they did a hell of a lot worse. It did and said a hell of a lot worse things than we do today.
Promise you.
And nothing was said about it. It's I don't know how we got to where we're at. I have no idea.
Well, it's a double standard, in my opinion, in society today. The double standard, it makes no sense to me.
Right. And I get that. If it's not good for one, it shouldn't be good for any.
That's exactly right.
And I do agree with that. But again, we have to know and understand that's real. And I honestly don't think he thought anything of it. I don't.
Absolutely
I don't think he
not.
thought anything of it, and probably didn't until probably an hour or two later. And he's like, "Oh shit, this blew up."
It was funny.
Anything by it.
It was funny because I sent a message to Sterling. I heard it literally 2 minutes after it happened.
Yeah.
And I sent it to him. I said, "This is not going to be good." And all of a sudden,
I figured you'd be in trouble.
Oh, yeah. And then we wake up
or something. I didn't think it would be all that.
No, I didn't either because I hate to say it because he's a South Carolina boy. It happened to Jeremy Clements back, what was that, about 4 or 5 years ago?
Yes.
Same
right.
exact thing. And he got 2 race suspension. And, it was kind of,
I really
don't do it again.
Well, I knew they were going to do something. I told my wife, when I first seen it on there, I seen it on Facebook. I didn't see it live. And I told her then, I said, well, that's going to cost him some money. He's going to get fined and suspended. Did I know he was going to get fired and lose all these sponsorship and all this? I'm like, holy cow. They blew that shit up.
I promise you.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I promise you they did. Well, Mr. Terry, I sure am glad you come on here with us tonight. And I tell you what, as this series goes on, we're going to have to get you back on here. Talk about some racing.
And hey, once we get back to go-kart racing, he's going to come back on with us.
Oh, yeah, he's got to come back on here and talk about what went on at the track that week. So.
Oh, yeah, let's do that. And, and I extend your invite. Anytime I'm racing anywhere, y'all come on, man. We'd love to have you there. And, again, I greatly appreciate you coming on board with us on this iRacing deal. And we're going to see what we can do with that thing and blow it up, make it really big. And I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Well, I believe that's going to happen, and we sure do appreciate you giving us the chance to do it. So we appreciate it ourselves.
We're gonna keep this. We're gonna keep this little relationship going. We say, as long as you stay in here, we're gonna be right here with you, bud.
I appreciate it, my man. We'll see y'all Thursday.
Sounds great.
Virtually, I'll see you virtually Thursday.
You will do it.
All right, my man. Y'all be good, man.
Have a good
take
one.
care.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Well, how about that, boys and girls? Hey, pretty big news out of here, and I like what Mr. Terry had to say there. So,
yeah, Terry's actually he's a really good guy. He's very good to talk to, and he wants the same thing that we all want. We all want to see good, clean racing. We all want to see fun racing, whether it be on the racetrack at Triple T or Paradise or wherever, or it be on iRacing. So I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I can't wait to see what the future holds, on iRacing and what's coming up at his tracks, and looking forward to following him and trying to help promote him, go on through and do a lot more things on iRacing for sure.
For sure. And I mentioned to him that I'm gonna be in them races. I'm gonna try my hand at it on there and see what I can do. We didn't let another little cat out the bag, and we're still not going to let it out the bag. Y'all be watching our social medias here in the next week. We got some pretty cool news coming up.
Yeah, so we trying to. We want to help promote the series and help get our name out as well, and we want people to check us out too. So we're going to be promoting the series on the wall, and we're going to actually hopefully have something on the car somewhere soon too.
Well, it's going to be on my car, but maybe we'll have it on another one too. We'll see. Y'all be watching. Yeah. So anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight, guys. So I'm out of here.
Later.